Alright, this is another episode of Comedy Catch Up. This one is going to be the Mike Tyson Hot Boxin with Mike podcast, and he had Roseanne on. I know this isn't really like the normal kind of podcast that like I cover, or that I will be covering. I guess I haven't really done many episodes yet, but after watching Mike on Rogan last week, I mean, that was a great podcast. I wish Rogan wouldn't have focused so much on Mike's boxing career because he obviously didn't really want to talk about that. But I made a video on it. I should have posted it and I didn't. But anyways, that's off the topic. But this podcast, if you haven't seen it yet, it's great. It's really good. Go back and just start from the beginning and start watching it. That being said, I did miss last week's episode. But I did catch the one before that with Steve-O, and it's fucking hilarious. This one is pretty good too, but in kind of a different way. And I feel like this podcast is brand new. How many episodes is he in now? 6 episodes, right? So very early, just started. I feel like this could be like the most popular podcast this year if it just keeps going the way it's been going. I mean, Mike is so funny, and he knows everybody. Like, the guy just knows everyone. It's crazy. And he's got great stories with all these people. And like I said, last week, I guess it was like a week ago, because the last episode was a few days ago before this Roseanne one. But he had Steve-O on, and they have, just great chemistry and a great history together too. A ton of stories to talk about. And that's what makes this podcast so much fun, is that like so far, like the people like he's bringing on have a history with him, and they have stories to kind of go back and forth on and talk about. And so it's not just like, oh, so you were a boxer, so what's your boxing career like? What was it like when you fought whoever, and what was it like losing, and blah blah blah. What was it's like that shit gets old. We've heard what Mike talked about boxing a million times. So I think this podcast, if it keeps going, I think this will be like one of the best podcasts this year. I think it's really gonna just blow up. I mean, it's already fucking huge. I mean, well, it's not on like the Rogan level of huge, right? But I mean, it just started, and it's got like 500,000 subscribers already, and the videos hit like 100,000 or so, like pretty quick, I think. So, I mean, yeah, it's blowing up. I think it'll get really big, and it's been a great podcast so far. Yeah, I mean, I guess like another thing that's interesting about Mike is that like he's the same age as Joe Rogan, right? They're both like 51, or they're relatively about the same age at least. But like Mike knows everybody who's not like just from all walks of life. He just met everybody. Whereas like Rogan, you look at him, like he really only knows comics who hang out at the Comedy Store in LA, and then he knows like hunters. Like his like scope of friends is very small, people he knows. And so like his guests are mostly just like random ass, psych professors or whatever the fuck kind of people he gets on. So whereas like this one is just, granted, Joe's like over 1,000 episodes in, so kind of can't really make a 1-to-1 comparison there. Oh yeah. So this is Roseanne's maybe done other podcasts since the Rogan one in October last year, but this is the first time at least I've seen her on a podcast since she went on Joe Rogan back in October. And that was when, well, I guess it was it wasn't like during, but it was kind of like post the main huge controversy thing of her like crazy tweet about like the Planet of the Apes tweet or whatever. And then she goes on Rogan and she looks like a fucking disaster. This time, she doesn't look quite as fucked up. Like, her eye isn't all, like, goofy and weird and shit and doing weird things. So, she seems, like, a little bit more coherent in this one, but still completely fucking crazy, as you would expect. And it's so, like, it's hard to tell when she's joking and when she's serious, because, like, when she's serious, she's just crazy. And when she's joking, it's pretty funny. It's like, but also still crazy. So it's really hard to tell when she goes from joking to crazy, because they're so similar. And she's like, at one, like in the beginning, she talks about how she's so much smarter than everybody else because she reads the Bible, apparently. And she starts quoting the Bible. But it's like, I don't know. Didn't you like go on Rogan last year and just talk about like how you're a Jew and you identify as, I don't know, am I interpreting this wrong? But like, or is my like understanding of religion that bad that I don't know what the fuck's going on here? But she's talking about like believing in God and reading the Bible and everything, but then she brings up, even in this one, I think, but also like she just keeps quoting the Bible. Like, here's this clip from Rogan last year.
Well,
And
I don't
So,
identify
let's
as a
see,
white
talking
woman.
about
What do you identify
she's
as?
Jewish.
I identify as a Jew.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And this is what you thought this woman was as well. What is her
Well,
name
she
again?
looks like my cousin Sharon.
So, what, I don't know. I don't know what Roseanne's story is anymore. You know, what? I don't know. Are you Jewish? Are you Christian? Are you just crazy? Crazy, I guess. But she just about like at one point just blows up ranting about this story about like pigs that are on her property in Hawaii and like how they're just like tearing up her property, and Mike is trying to get her attention, just Roseanne, and just like louder and louder and louder until she finally stops the story and goes, Mike, how do you stay so calm? And then Mike just basically like panic, like asks her a question to just get off of the fucking topic and just talk about anything else. But when he does that, he also she sets him up for some really good kind of like a wisdom, I don't know, reality check kind of thing from Mike. Like his response is really good.
People got to let go of their hate, don't you think, Mike?
Man, there's so much hate.
Whew.
I used to have that hate too, and
I had it.
and I didn't even realize why I had it. Why am I mad? What's wrong
Yeah.
with your life? Your life is great. The only reason why your life is not great is because you're living like an asshole. You got this hate and all this energy with you.
Yeah, hate energy. Yeah. A lot of people, that's their battery, hate energy.
Yeah, I don't know. Mike constantly kind of just has that like bits of like wisdom and like very self-aware, I guess. He's very self-aware and conscious of what he's done in the past and his actions and whatnot. And so he has these like bits of really good kind of just, I mean, it's like obvious shit, you know, like, hey, your life's really good. So, you know, you're living it up. You're not poor. So why are you angry? What the fuck you got to be mad about? But I don't know. It's just cool to hear, I guess. I don't know why. Anyways, she talks about running for president. I didn't remember this. This was new to me. And apparently it was new to her talking about it because she said that she's never talked to people about it before or something. I don't know. That part didn't really make sense. But she talked about it on Rogan as well. And yeah, apparently she ran for president in 2012. Who the fuck would vote for Roseanne ever? But Mike explains his face tattoo, which was kind of interesting. I feel like most people have probably heard him talk about it before, but
Time drinking, and I was just saying, fuck, I want to get a badass tattoo and some mean shit on my face. Right? No, really, I did.
I love it.
I want to get this badass tattoo, mean shit on my face, but I didn't know what to get. At first, I said maybe I get a bunch of hearts or something. And my face was some fucking hearts, man. That's not mean. He said, that just makes no sense. He said, I'm going to do something tribal.
About how he
And
had
so,
tribal instead of hearts on his face. But can you imagine Mike Tyson with hearts? I haven't heard that part before, though. Is that like, he mentions that like, he was like, yeah, I want to get something like hearts. Like, why? You thought that was a badass tattoo? Can you imagine Mike Tyson with just fucking hearts around his eye? Or some shit. Oh man, that would be a completely different. Like now, I could see Mike getting that kind of tattoo because Mike's just chill and relaxed, calm kind of guy. You know, just smokes weed and whatever. And Mike before, when Mike got that face tattoo, I mean that was fucking huge. Like there wasn't like tons of people getting face tattoos when he had his done. Like now, every like SoundCloud rapper has a face is covered in face tattoos, right? But like back then, like. I mean, let's see, I'm probably getting dates and years and shit mixed up. But like Lil Wayne was on like the scene at that by then when Mike had his done, and he was all done up with face tattoos, I think too. But I might be all messed up on dates, so who knows? And I think this was in the beginning of the episode. So the co-host, he is a former NFL football player, and he played on the Panthers and then on the Bears. And Roseanne, being from Chicago and Illinois or whatever the fuck, she's like, oh yeah, I'm a huge Bears fan. You know, I love the Bears. And she's like, I didn't know you played for them. Like, okay, well, I thought you were a fan, but all right. And then he's like, yeah, it sucks they lost last weekend. She's like, in, you know, the playoffs. It's like, oh, really? They lost? It's like, wait, what? Did you just say you're like a huge fan? Like, are you I don't know. You don't know anything about the team? But, okay, so she's not really a fan. And Mike asked her later on about if she's ever taken psychedelics. She said she hasn't taken, she was like, at 60 years old, she's when she tried mushrooms.
So in my 60s in Hawaii, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to take a mushroom.
Oh, mushrooms are cool. I like mushrooms.
I didn't.
They're hard to get, though.
Well, someone was kind enough to gift me with one at a sacred ceremony
she also stopping
in
smoking
Hawaii.
Too. I just seen that in the clip of her. Because I can't tell. I think she was just smoking weed, though, in the episode. But remember, if you've seen the Rogan episode or podcast, whatever, with her on it, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm quitting smoking. You know, I drop down like the amount of cigarettes I smoke like in half every day or some shit." And then she chain smokes for the full like 3 hours. She's just fucking one after another after another after another. Oh man. That fucking podcast was such a train wreck. If you haven't seen it, you have to go back and watch it because the whole thing is hilarious. It was way better. Like, this one was pretty funny because it's Mike asking her questions, and like, I don't know, like that kind of dynamic is just funny, you know? But hearing like Joe being like serious Joe, or like he put her on the podcast to try to like exonerate her and like defend her and like help her out basically because of all the shitstorm going on with the tweet at the time. And so it was just like, it wasn't a funny podcast. It was funny to watch for us because of how fucked up she was at the time and just sounded so insanely crazy. But yeah, she sets up Mike perfectly though with the presidential thing.
Should Mike run for president 2020?
No,
I've told him that for years.
No.
Dude, he'd win.
I know he would.
This guy would win.
He totally would win.
I don't know, brother. I'll help you do it. I'll be your campaign manager.
Would you want to, though? You wouldn't want to, would you?
No way, Jose.
Yeah, fuck
I want to
that.
stay out here and smoke and sell cannabis.
You'd be smoking in the Oval, dude.
I'd rather stay with you guys, man. Smoke and sell cannabis.
Just more relaxed.
Smoking so
Yeah.
cannabis. How can you not like Mike now? I mean, he's just so fucking just chill, just relax, you know. He seems like a good guy, but I don't know, whatever. Like, he talks about how he's like, I've got a conspiracy theory that the 10-year challenge thing that's going on Facebook and Instagram or whatever is just a way for Facebook to mine more user data to help with their facial recognition software, which there's been a few tech articles written about this, but it doesn't really hold water once you actually like think about it, because this is actually a really terrible way of building a model for facial recognition. It's not really for facial recognition. It's more, you would use it for like more nuanced reasons. You wouldn't use it for just like facial recognition. I mean, first of all, that's such a broad general term. Like, you don't build an ML model for facial recognition, you know? Like, you build it for very, like, you have to, so basically you have to train this neural net on very specific scenarios until it can start self-training itself, or self-training, not self-training itself, obviously. But yeah, the data that you're collecting in these pictures would be terrible. There would be no you couldn't build a model based on these pictures, and you wouldn't want to. There's just no real there's not really a good purpose for it. Like, most of them, they're just, I mean, it's 10 years old. 10 years ago, if you think about it, like, so let's see here, it's 2019 now, or yeah, fucking holy shit, am I dumb? But okay, so 10 years ago, right? So 2009, right? So 2008 or was it 2009 when the iPhone? It was either 2000. I think it was 2008 when the iPhone launched, right? So the iPhone is a year old, right? The iPhone has basically no functionality at this point when it first comes out. It's a terrible phone, but it's better than pretty much every other really, really shitty smartphone that's on the market so far. Like BlackBerry is basically the only other like serious competitor. Now LG has like a couple shitty phones out, but yeah, like what people were doing, like people weren't like uploading that data anywhere really, and like the pictures themselves weren't really that good of quality, as well as like it just like what are you getting? I don't know. You know, fuck cares. I shouldn't go rant on this because this isn't about tech shit. But I do like this, like the kind of stuff that like I do for work, and so I get all caught up in the dumb shit. It doesn't matter. But anyways, so that's basically, there's not really a whole lot else to cover, so I really shouldn't have ranted. I probably should just cut it out, but this episode's probably like 5 minutes long, so I'll probably just leave it in. But this clip was kind of funny, talking about smoking weed or whatever.
It's awesome having
We should have got stoned the first time we met.
We did. See, you don't even remember. We did. I knew your memory would be different than mine.
Just the visuals on this.
No,
is
you
just
wouldn't
hilarious.
smoke.
Like the close-up shot
Okay, you
of
did.
Roseanne light up, and then
Okay.
switching over to Mike, just
And I
that
did
close-up
do that,
shot,
so
and him lighting
you
up. I
own
don't know
it.
why. Like it's
Wow.
still just. So
When was
funny.
that?
That was in Las Vegas.
I think it's just like their age, and then like them being just such like icons of like, because it's so like smoking weed is still so taboo or whatever in this country, and I mean not where I live, but like where most of you live is like super taboo, you know, and so seeing like a celebrity, I mean look at what happened with fucking Elon Musk when he didn't even barely even took a hit off that joint from well, it wasn't even a joint, it's just a blunt, I think, when he was on Rogan, and everybody freaked out. Everybody was all over the news about what a terrible person Elon is because he hit a fucking blunt once. That's why it's so like interesting, I guess, and entertaining to watch Mike and Roseanne light up. I don't know. It's just something about it, especially because like I don't know, like when I was a little kid, that's like when Roseanne was on TV. You know, she's like that mom figure, so it's just funny as fuck. I didn't grow up in the same kind of household as Mike. Like when Mike was on, I can edit in the clip, I guess. When Mike was on Rogan last week, he talks about how when he was 11, I think he said when he was 11, his mom would give him weed and alcohol to help him go to bed. He's like, yeah, you know what that's like when you're a kid. And Joe's like, no, I don't know what that's like at all. Oh man, but all right, let's end with cheese dip here.
All I eat is cheese.
If someone has an injured leg, you don't expect them to run marathons. Had legitimate, real, diagnosed, treated mental health issues, trauma-related issues. There you go.
How do you like that,
Like it.
baby?